Hey guys, we are back with a new video, and this is a very special video with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, Joe?
Yo, what up? How's it going? JoeUX9 and Online, YouTuber as well. Well, I took a little bit of break, but now I'm back.
Yeah, because you
So
started
that's
making
cool.
your own thumbnails now, right? So,
Yeah. It was basically like, yeah, like it's kind of funny because I'm sure you feel this way too, like with your own videos. But it's like, um, sometimes when you gotta wait on the thumbnails, right? You feel like you have to like wait up on posting stuff. But like now that I'm just doing my own, it's just like, yeah, I'll just do whatever. Like I just make it for it, so it's fun. But
yeah,
yeah, no,
exactly.
I'm happy to be here, man. I'm looking forward to working on the tier list of tier lists. To be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, this is a very special video. We're making a Reg G tier list, and this started with my Twitter post here. If you've been following that, it's kind of been a meme, right, in the community. Every YouTuber has made a Reg G tier list. So today we'll be ranking every single YouTuber that we have found and their tier list. We found eight of them. So Jody, that's a +1. Moxy, Sempra, myself, Joe, Colin, and Aaron Cybertron Zhang. Um, and yeah, we watched all the VODs and we took screenshots of their final tier list. And we're going to start in order, starting with Jody. And this one's kind of funny because he was also doing a Reaction G tier list, but
Yep,
half the VOD was actually bait because he did sort of in the
lied.
beginning, but he didn't actually did what we did. We did it better. Like we actually formatted it, ranking all the tier lists. He was just kind of talking about, yapping about it. He didn't even go in tier maker and do all this hard work that we did here. So he's got some minus points for that. But we're still going to rank his actual tier list he did in the end of the stream. And as you
Hmm.
see here, um, he has topless tier with Cali Shadow and Maridon, which
I I think Pagos deserves to be over Maridon right now. I'm not gonna lie.
ooh. Mm, yeah, I mean it does have a handful of results right now, right?
If you think of like, okay, so Pagos is one, two out of the three most recent VRs.
Uh-huh.
Maridon got one placement in the first two, and then did better in the most recent one, and got like four placements, I think,
It did
in
pretty
top 10.
well in this most recent victory road, right? It had a top four, a
Yeah,
top eight, and I think there's some in top 16.
yeah. So like, it's
So
not bad. I mean, I would put all three in
okay,
top tier, but I think Pagos should be there. So I'd probably deduct a little bit of points for that, honestly.
okay. I kind of see it. I think like I was talking about it in my tier list, or not tier list. Like, I was doing like a recap of the meta, and I was thinking like Pagos is not exactly S tier, but its partners and the team it is right now is so good. Like
Hmm.
that Pagos 6 going around is just so impressive, and it just supports the Pagos so well, like double fake out and like redirection. So yeah, you know what? I can see it. I think it's definitely like one of the top teams, and if you're using a restricted pairing, it's definitely like a top tier then, I guess, with that logic.
I think I disagree with Kali being above Zama as well. I'd probably put Zama above Kali right now. Kali is just
Cali
kind of on
Ice,
fraud watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Zama just won the most recent tour. Cali Ice has not been performing well in the last three that we covered.
Yeah. That being
So,
said, I mean, I can see why people would do that because like Kali Isis was so strong before. So
mhm,
it's not the worst thing because I think even I did that on my list a bit ago.
yeah,
If I could obviously change it now, I'd probably put Zama above Kali because of the way the meta is shifting. So not too many points. But when was this tier list made?
this
Like
was made
how recent?
yesterday.
Okay. I'm deducting points for it then.
Okay. I'm down with that. Yeah, and his next tier, he said there's a huge gap. He didn't put anything here actually. So, oh wait, what? Above them, they are lying to you. Okay, so he's just making a joke.
Karai should be higher. Karai should be higher than Kyogre for sure.
mm,
And Groudon.
really? You think Koraidon is better than Kyogre right now?
It got top four and top eight in what's it called?
Yeah,
Two of the VRs.
that's true. But then
And
it flopped this last one. They were like 17 in day one and 0 made day two,
yeah,
which is
but
kind of crazy. I think like
yeah,
Kyogre and Koraidon are like interchangeable because Kyogre has also had a few top cuts. A top eight, or top 16 this last one. Like I know Alex Soto also used it in Victory Road 2, and then some Korean player used it for this one as well to do well.
yeah, it was Crystal. Crystal cut two victory roads in a
Yeah,
row with
yeah.
Kyogre, but I think Crystal is just good with Kyogre rather than like Kyogre is like better than like okay. So if we're thinking like let's say you're sitting across the table from like a Koraidon player or a Kyogre player, which one are you dreading more? Like personally, I'm dreading the Koraidon more. You know what I mean?
uh, yeah, I guess. I mean, Koraidon's scary because like Chi Flutter enables that. Kyogre's still kind of
Yeah.
scary itself because you still got to face like Water Spout or Origin Pulse or like Urshifu and Rain's pretty scary sometimes. But I don't know. I feel like it's not that huge of a deal. I feel like they're higher than Groudon, though. I'll put them higher than Groudon. Like Groudon's still like it's been popping off recently, but it's kind of
I think that's fair.
it's like a niche, right? Zacian deserves to probably be like the lower end too because it's not that great.
Yeah, I'd probably say the way I would order that part would be Koraidon, Kyogre, Groudon. Maybe Groudon over Kyogre, but whatever. Either way, I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, you're the Groudon guy, but
yeah, but and then Zacian probably last. So in my opinion, I think if Koraidon was above, I'd probably like that more.
Okay,
but yeah, I don't. Do we really care about like the stuff below that? I mean,
no,
I'd probably just
really.
bump Lugia up a tier. Yeah, but
yeah. I mean, the ones below, I agree with. It's mostly just like interchangeable between Kyogre, Groudon, and Koraidon, right? Like those three are kind of flexible. And then above, we both agree that Kalia is the lowest of the contenders, and then Pogos probably moves up one, right? So overall, not a bad tier list, but he gets some points deducted for you're lying about the Reg G tier list, and then also I guess like I think like appreciating either Kalias and Tropicos, making Tropicos a little bit higher.
I think I'd probably rate this in the B category because it's actually like the biggest issues for me are the fact that it's recent, so Zama should be above Kalias and Terapagos should be up. But it's not like terrible, right? Like it's like all the Mons are in the tiers besides Terapagos that they're supposed to be in, right?
Right.
But like I just think they're like not organized the best. So I would give it a B.
Also, Kyurem White inviable. Is Kyurem White really viable?
I had it as a Pokemon that. Oh, actually, no. I did take it. I think in mine, I had it that like if you paid me $1,000, I'd play it. And then I thought about more. I was like, never mind. You know,
exactly.
I threw it out.
Okay, I'm okay with B then. I do not agree with Kyurem White at all.
Yeah, I think B. Yeah, I think B is good. Like,
all right.
I would rather have Lugia over Kyurem White for sure.
Okay. So next we have that's a +1, and he has the S tiers Miraidon, Pogos, Kali, Shadow. So pretty close to what you said before. Except Miraidon's his highest pick instead of Shadow Rider, which is interesting. I feel like Miraidon won Worlds, maybe that's his logic. But they are interchangeable, right? Those three.
I think you would, like they're interchangeable, but I probably put Miraidon towards the bottom, like all the time, just because I think Pogos and Kali Shadow are better, right? So if we're rating it based on like specific stat, Kyogre in A is like psychotic to me. I do not think it deserves.
I do not agree with that either. He put it higher than Zamazenta, which is pretty crazy. Like Kyogre, I think is like at best B, right? Just because it's inconsistencies. Like it's still a strong restricted. Like it's always going to have like results, but I don't think Kyogre's winning the event, in my opinion.
Oh god, this B tier is killing my soul, bro. Like Giratina Origin, Dialga Origin, like these guys are not on the same level. These guys are not on the same level.
Horse is here too. Yeah, I feel like the B tiers here. Yes, you're throwing like all the weaker ones here, but some of these weaker ones do not compare to mons like Groudon, Koraidon, and Zacian, right? I wouldn't put Mewtwo in the same tier like as Koraidon.
Oh my god, Mewtwo's in B, bro.
Mewtwo's in B. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like besides even in the A tier, bro, like Kyogre, bro, I gotta give this thing like an F, bro. Like this is just not it, bro. Like,
that's so mean. I don't agree.
No, hold on. I want to clarify, by the way. There's nothing personal here, by the way. If I disagree with your tier list in this video, it has nothing to do with how I view you personally as a person. I think it's okay to think other people's opinions are bad.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't.
We should have started with that probably.
maybe it's a good thing we got to this now though. Like his S tiers, I feel like are fine. Yeah, you can like arguably interchange them, right? Yeah.
S tiers are good.
A is like okay minus Kyogre. Like if you moved Kyogre down one, then A would have been fine. And then B is a lot to look at.
Bro, or look, bro. I'm gonna just say it, okay? You can't have Mewtwo in the B tier. If I see Mewtwo in the B tier, like automatically, like the tier list just goes down to like almost like F for me, bro. Like that's just like I was thinking about it because in my video when I made it, I was like, I looked at Mewtwo, I was like, bro, like you're just really down bad if you're using this Pokemon. Like it's just not like good, you know?
Yeah.
Also, Kyurem in B, like we already talked about, we didn't think Kyurem was very good, right? Kyurem Black in B, Necrozma Duskmane in B, like these are just not like B tier Pokemon in my opinion. Like a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, and then Dialga, and then both the Dialga Origin Form and Palkia, right? That's they had like seen no competitive play.
It's funny too because I actually think some of the guys in C are better than some of the B tiers as well.
I feel like Rayquaza is better than Mewtwo, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But yeah,
well, wait,
interesting takes.
how many letter ratings do we have?
Well, we only have 8 tier lists, so I have S, A, B, C, D. I don't think that's a +1 is going to be like an F. Like he had like the S tiers were fine in my opinion, and A could have been like switched up a little bit. So it'd be like C or D. I mean, D is our lowest right now because we don't have
Bro, D, it's D, it's D, it's D, bro.
I'm sorry, that's
Like,
a +1.
no, it's not like I like, yeah, to clarify for the viewers, like this is not personal. This is just our opinions. I'm just telling you, like, I can't look at a Mewtwo and B and say like I wouldn't put it in D tier, bro. Like, it's just
Yeah,
to be like,
yeah, it's a bit much. It's a lot to look at. So sorry, buddy.
I think if the B tier was cleaner, and like where I have the issue, honestly, like where it bothers me is like I feel like there are some Pokemon in B that just don't belong there, and if those Pokemon had been lowered, I wouldn't really care. I think like this tier list also would have benefited from an extra tier because like if you had an F tier, which is where you would have put all the bad Pokemon that are in D, then you would have had more space to differentiate between like
exactly. Like with an F tier, more of this Pokemon would be in C, and in B would be a lot more like fleshed out, right? Because right now half of B doesn't deserve to be in B. So yeah.
So
we'll move on next to who's this? This is Moxy boosted. And he had this on the second channel. The best he had was Shadow Rider at first, Miraidon at second, Tropicos at third, and Cali Shadow at fourth. And his tiers were not SB, not S, A, B, C, etc. His next rating is could win a major, which has Zamazenta, which I agree with, and next is Koraidon, which is like
I don't think I see Moxie's. Do you mind sending it to me?
It's again. It's the Regulation G tier list.
Okay, got it. Okay, I see it.
Yeah. So, and I'm looking at could win a major right now, and we have Zamazenta and Koraidon. Zama, I agree with. Koraidon, I don't know. Koraidon has kind of like it's shown that it can cut, but I feel like to beat the rest of the field, it needs a lot of luck.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say I actually like this list. I think I would switch Pagos and Miraidon, and I drop Cali Ice down a tier.
Sure.
I'd probably put Zom over Cali Ice.
Okay.
But like even then, I think it's justifiable to have Cali. Like I think honestly, the only justifiable criticism here is like maybe dropping Cali Ice 1. And then I don't disagree with you on Koraidon. I could see how someone could logically put it in here above like Groudon, Kyogre, Zacian. Because like performance wise, it has done better than them, right?
Right.
Like it's had a bit more performances. So I don't mind Koraidon as long as it's on the bottom of could win a major,
which it currently is. So it's not the worst option.
Yeah, I like the tier below A, but I think that I don't know how I feel about. I mean, Lunala and Dustmane and Necrozma, honestly, like they're fine.
They're fine mons. I don't think they're winning a major, but like making a whole personality, like if you're like mainly like say the side spam archetype, you're definitely using like Lunala or or Dawn Wings usually, right? Or Shadow Rider, of course, is another option. But for the hard triple comps, they usually go like the Lunala buddies. So yeah.
I actually like this one a bit. I don't know how I feel. Like, okay, so I like the way at least he worded the tier below, because like there were some there that I'm like, but like the not recommended, but day 2 is possible if you're like really, really good. Like I would agree with all of these Pokemon, save maybe. Yeah, actually, no, you could probably make day 2 with all these Pokemon pretty much. Although I think regular Dialga should just be like low, because like
that's true.
Dialga Origin is just objectively better.
Yeah,
right?
so I know someone almost day 2 the talent special Dialga Origin, but not and I think the regular forms are not nearly as good right now, right? So
yeah, I could see someone like day 2ing. I don't know about Palkia specifically. I don't know about that, but like I could see people like definitely making it, right?
Yeah, mine is Dialga and Palkia. The rest seem fine. They're not very good Pokemon, but they probably could maybe day 2 if you're. I guess in day 2 there's always like some weird stuff, right? Like back in like Reg Age, we had like stuff like Glacial on day 2ing or stuff like that, or Iron Moth and Reg G too, like stuff that are like a kind of more niche Pokemon. You can also save a restricted, assuming like the rest of the partners are good. You have 5 good mons plus like a weird restricted. So yeah.
I mean, I think out of all of them so far, yeah, I would probably say that looking at this, I'd probably rate it higher than
Jody's,
because I think that it's a little more like. I think there are a couple more things included that I think actually could be good. Like we were talking about, like Necrozma Dawnwings, Lunala. Like I think they're actually genuinely pretty good Pokemon. The ordering of you need to make it your whole personality is a little weird to me, but
Right.
like I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I would probably say besides a little bit of ordering things, maybe, and like maybe Kali Icing to be dropped a tier, I actually would kind of agree with a lot of this list, or like I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Like I think all the positions are justifiable. You know what I mean?
They're all reasonable.
So
Like we agree with most of these
yeah.
takes. It's just like they can be interchangeable depending on the player's turn.
Yeah, I think it also helps that the way Marcos labeled it was very like it wasn't like because when you label stuff like I think S A B like whatever, it's like more of an objective rating. If you say something like, for example, the way he put it, like not recommended, but day 2 is possible. Like I think that like you know what I mean, like opens it up a bit more to where you can be a bit more forgiving. So I like it. I'd probably give it like honestly, I'd probably give it an A. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
I put an A myself. It's A's above Jody. So right now we have no an S, one an A, one an B, and one an D.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then we'll move on to Sempra's. So Sempra, this is also basically my tier list too, because I hopped on his YouTube channel with me, him, and Marco.
Yeah.
And we did a restricted tier list, and we had Maridon at first. This one's a little bit outdated, to be honest. This is before all the Victory Road tournaments, so we had Cali Ice here at second. So this is before Cali Ice bombed every Victory Road tour since. And then we had Cali Shadow at third. Marco was saying that Cali Shadow wasn't very good, and I think that's bait too, because he also ended up using it in Victory Road to like top 8 one of the tours. So that was interesting. And then Zalma and Pagos at A, Kyogre at B, Ozation and Koraidon, and then Lunala C, Groudon C, Dawnwing C, Curemite C, Eterna C, and Zekrom at C. Because Marco was saying that Zekrom gets Tailwind, and that was a really key point in his argument, and we kept it in there.
We have Kyurem White and Zekrom in the same tier as Groudon, bro. Like this thing's got to be C, bro. Like, this is a C tier like tier list, bro.
Yeah, it's not amazing. It's a little bit outdated too.
Yeah, of course, right? Like, I mean, like, I think we're also taking that into consideration as like the time frame, because with Jody's, we were taking into consideration the fact that like he made it yesterday, right?
Exactly.
But
this was
like,
made,
I was
2 weeks ago. So
yeah, but like, I still would say, I like Koraidon being below Zacian and Kyogre, in my opinion, is like nuts. Like, I think Koraidon's better.
Koraidon should be at least one of Zacian. And it's like in between Kyogre, like we said before, just because they both have results.
Yeah, and like Cali Ice is too high right now.
Yeah, Cali Ice is
I'd probably say C.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, the D and F tiers are fine. It's mostly like the other tiers are interchangeable.
Yeah, I would have dropped Mewtwo to F, bro. Personally, like, I know I keep talking about Mewtwo a lot, but this one's terrible, bro. Like,
it's really bad. Awful. It's really bad. It gets it's literally just worse. Cali Shadow, both psychic types. They both have a nerve, but Cali has 2 abilities. So,
bro, also its base speed has it slower than Maridon and Koraidon.
Oh no. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like, it's just not good. Like,
yeah. Sorry, Sempra. I thought you'd see. And next is mine. Yeah. I actually didn't do a Reg G restricted tier list because everyone else was doing it, and also because I already did one on Sempra's channel basically, so I wanted to do just the non-restricted. So we have my list here, and instead of S, I had like the very best, and then orange was strong and flexible, and then third tier was solid but not flexible, and then the yellow one was like could day 2 but wouldn't recommend, and then green was please use better Pokemon. So yeah, these were my Pokemon. I guess like for this one, since we both have each other here, like you can rate mine and I can rate yours. So we're not like super biased.
Yeah, I mean, looking at yours, I think you kind of hit all the main ones that I would want to see in the top tiers. Because I feel like once you get to like down to the third tier, it does become a little more subjective, right? I think maybe, for example, like I would probably put Jugulus a bit lower because I think Jugulus is like kind of bad. Like Moltres is kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously it did well at like events, but I think also context of like where we are in the format matters, right?
Yeah.
And like Moltres and Jugulus are just like kind of bad right now.
Yeah. I also for context, I actually wasn't really ordering in particular like by strongest by order of the Pokemon. I just kind of put them together for the tier.
Yeah. I noticed you also put Jumpluff and Venusaur in the same tier, so I would have to deduct for that, unfortunately.
Oh man, okay, sorry.
I feel like honestly, It's not bad. I honestly, where I think it looks a little weaker to me is towards the bottom of the solid tier
Mm-hmm.
and the like fourth one down, pretty much.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that's probably the only places where I had like any major issues. I'd also probably put like some Pokemon a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, like I think Glacier goes up to like these are better options, but can still day two because a lot of the Japanese players have been using like Iron Defense Body Press
Yeah,
Glacier.
I did mention that in my video. But
Yeah,
I
so
was saying that's bad though.
yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of bad, but like I could see it like being a bit better.
Mhm.
I also think like when I look at like Chandelure, like or like some of the other weird ones, like I'd probably be like, yeah, these guys just suck. But
Mhm.
like Okidogi, bro, like I'm never touching that Pokemon in the Cali Shadow format, bro.
He almost cut worlds. He almost cut worlds.
That is true. That is true. And but obviously, again, it's all subjective. So like to me, it's like you know what I mean. Like it's not a big deal. I think it's like fine. I'd probably put if we're compounding and counting you and Sempra together because like you made the tier list with Sempra.
Okay.
I'd probably say you end up in. Yeah, Sempra's tier list would drag you down quite a bit, though. That's the only
We're combining
thing.
me and Sempra? I mean, I guess I was 1/3 of the ranking.
I would say okay. So let's be graceful then and say that you are like it impacts your like overall very little. I would say probably either top of B or bottom of A, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because of Sempra's tier list specifically, I think without it you'd be fine in A.
Because it's my channel, I'm putting myself in the bottom A. Because I deserve.
That's fine. I think bottom of A is very reasonable.
Yeah,
no, bottom of A is really reasonable.
Yeah,
because like I think like I look at all of your first two, and I'm like, yeah, this all makes sense. Like maybe I'd invert some positions, but that's like subjective. You need Incineroar Ursh as your top three, right?
Yep.
And then like everything in like below just like makes sense to me. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then we move on. Next here we have yours. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about you.
Yep.
And you had 2 tier lists, so we're gonna go over. I guess we're gonna go over your non-restricted one first.
One thing to note, which you can deduct points for this if you want. I forgot about Mienshao and Latios on my non-restricted, which is kind of bad.
Yeah, that's kind of bad, man. Day 1 regionals.
Yeah, so I mess it up. I mess it up pretty bad, but like just fair warning there. I noticed, I recognize my mistakes, but you know, I felt like the rest of it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. It's also are you missing some? It's only like A, S to C, but that's fine, right? S at Rillaboom, that makes sense. Like Ursh, Incin, Ogerpon. We actually did a little bit different. You did Heart Flame instead of Bolt for me, but
yeah, we flipped them, which was kind of funny.
But they're pretty similar. If like I feel like in what you want them to do. Like Heart Flame's like almost any team. I know that's what you said, so that's why it's good. And my reason for Bolt was because Bolt beats like the other guys pretty well. So yeah, and then we had a pretty similar actually A+ tier. Like almost all the guys were the same here.
100%. Yeah. I looked at our A's and I was like, yeah, these are very similar.
Yeah, these are very similar. We got pretty similar rankings.
Yeah.
Only difference, like you said, like you don't have the Mienshao here. Mienshao and Latios.
If you're wondering where I would have put it, I probably would have put Mienshao in B, and I would have put Latios in B. Okay. Like not B+, like B, just straight B.
Gotcha. You got jump off quite high here, man. You want to explain?
Well, you know, it's a classic, bro.
Yeah, classic. Oh yeah, okay. Just because of Groudon.
My logic was, so if you notice all the Pokemon in the bottom of B+, the reason why I didn't put them higher was because they're all supportive Pokemon that are focused on enabling like some restricted to be kind of broken. So like Weezing, for example, right? So like the idea is that like all of the support Pokemon that enable an entire archetype, but like aren't good enough on their own to be like offensive Pokemon or like be individually good, were like what I put in like B+ tier. Because like I think Groudon Sun is considerably worse without Jump Love, right? Like in my opinion. Or like Cali Shadow like wants one of the support guys of like Smeargle or Clefairy sometimes, or like you know some of the other teams like that don't have a good answer. Cali Shadow want Ditto, right? So it's like kind of like more of the like either like patch or like good supportive slots in the B+ tier. That's what I did.
So. Okay. I kind of see. I still don't agree with it, but I see the rest of them. Like I agree with Smeargle and Clefairy. Yeah. I had it in the same tier as well. Jump Off. I mean, I had it a little bit lower because it only had a niche on one comp, so that was my example. While I think Smeargle and Clefairy has seen usage on like more teams, right? Like on both Calyx forms, you can see both Clefairy or Smeargle in, and etc. So that's my logic.
Yeah, a little bit of bias there for me,
yeah,
of course.
definitely a little bias. Definitely a little sun bias.
Yeah.
B looks fine. I think Talonflame's a little bit high. I mean, I know it did well in the most recent Victory Road tour, but I think that there's definitely way better Pokemon than Talonflame.
Yeah, I was thinking too because it was one win off of World's Top Cut as well.
Oh, okay.
On like a Zama comp, it was
Okay.
like Zama, Screamtail, Zama, Screamtail, Talon, Chinpao.
Okay.
So that's why I put it up there because I had played with that team a little bit on ladder and it actually was pretty fun. Like it was pretty good and like Life Orb Brave Bird Talon was like kind of nuts next to Chinpao. So I was like I'll sneak it in the B. You know, it's like a little bit better.
Okay, fair. Yeah, and the rest of the B seem fine. Like a lot of these guys have seen a lot of usage, and then C is like most of the bad Pokemon. So yeah. Overall seems okay.
I messed up with no Latios and
you
Mienshao, though.
You
that was
definitely messed up
bad.
some points, and there's some bias in the jump bluff, so I'm gonna start check some points there too. But overall, like we had pretty similar opinions for the first half of the list. So we're gonna look at your restricted ones though, since we're combining your ranking together.
Yeah.
And this is a restricted tier list, and you've top tier. We basically agreed with each other. Cali Shadow, I think, is on top. Tropicus and Miraidon also been some of the most consistent restricteds. Cali Ice and Zama, I agree with being very strong. Koraidon, I mean, I think Koraidon's strong, but I don't know if it's the same tier as Cali Ice or Zama in my opinion. So, like personally, I'll put it like one down.
Mm-hmm.
Koraidon, Kyogreization, Dawn Wings are I think that's fine. Like Dawn Wings is usually only on the Hard Trickum comp, which has seen some usage. I don't think it's like particularly impressive of a comp, but like for being Hard Trick Room, like that's probably the way you want to run it. It's either with that or
it's like the best version besides Cali Ice, right?
So, and then the rest like are below, which I think are fine. I mean Lunala, to be honest, like if you have Dawn Wings up here, I'll put Lunala up here too, because Lunala is also very similar on these Hard Trick Room comps, like Brian Collins in the Cortex group. Like he almost did he did day 2 worlds. He almost top cut worlds with Nala, Okidogi, right?
yeah.
Like really strange team, but because of how like niche Dawn Wings is and how Lunala is, I think they would be in the same tier. Yep. But besides that, I mean, everything else is pretty straightforward. Like the really bad Pokemon deserve to be down there. I would just like move Lunala up one and then Koraidon down one. That's like the only changes.
Notice how Mewtwo's on the bottom, by the way.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. You really hate Mewtwo. This whole video has been like you shitting on Mewtwo.
Bad, bro. So bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we have pretty similar opinions, just some very slight differences in certain tierings, but I think I'll put you also in A. Because you forgot 2 Pokemon, you'd be right below me.
Yep. That's fair. I did forget about Latios.
Yep, you forgot 2 whole Pokemon.
My punishment.
Yep. Next year, we got the Battle Room himself, Colin Hire. This is him and Rogoff's tier list.
Yeah. And so I guess we rank them together. But Cali Ice #1, bro. Come on.
Oh boy. Yeah, Cali Ice has been in the trenches.
Pagos in A and Cali Ice in top of S. Hell no.
Yep. I mean, Shadow Rider Miraidon, definitely S tier. Cali Ice Rider probably moved down 1 just because of recent results and the
when was this video posted?
I think this was a week and a half ago.
Okay, so I mean, I could understand, but by this point, there were 2 VR challenges and Cali Ice bombed both, right?
Yeah.
So
not super recent, but there have been a lot of time on for him to see on Showdown or on Victory Road, right? See where the trend was going for Cali Ice, and it wasn't going in a positive way. So it's definitely a little bit too high.
I think Cali Ice should be 3 lower. So to me, that's a lot of points deducted already.
Okay.
Because Cali Ice, right? You want because in my opinion, right? I don't care what order of Mons you really have at Calyrex, Shadow, Miraidon, Terapagos, but I think it's undeniable that those 3 are probably the strongest right now. Of course, it's all opinion, right? But in my opinion, I think it's those are the undeniably 3 strongest, even if you look at statistics. And I think you can be justified for putting Cali Ice over Zama because it's very weird seeing a departure of it being an S tier all the way down to below Zama, right? But even then, it's still I think it's just too high given the context of the format. I also think Kyogre being over Koraidon. I've noticed a lot of people have done that. I really feel like Koraidon is better than Kyogre.
I mean. I think they're about the same, to be honest. I have no strong opinion, just because Kyogre has top cut worlds, and I mean, even though Koraidon didn't, it's been doing really good on these online tournaments recently. More so than Kyogre, like you mentioned. So I think they're on par. They both have strong cores. But I think they're both designated to one team that's doing well. Recently, it's been only the Combine Kyogre team dominating with that archetype, and then it's the the Spanish version of Koraidon, right? All the Spanish players have been running like Rock Pond, Koraidon, like Ditto.
Yeah.
So they're
Luna's
both
way
like
too high.
yeah. But I think the B tier is like fine. You can like obviously interchange
Yeah,
between
yeah.
them, and the only change is what I mean. I don't think. I mean, are they both better than? I mean, would you argue that Lunala and Groudon also deserve to be, or you think C is fine for
I
them?
would say Groudon and Zacian deserve B. I don't think Lunala deserves B, really.
I wouldn't have Kieran White up here too, though. We talked about how bad Kieran White is.
I also think no Necrozma Dawnwings in any of the tiers is a little cap, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Necrozma Dawnwings deserves to be like Wolflock and Lunala, just because they play like the same archetype, basically.
Yeah, like okay, so like, it's weird because Kyurem I feel like is kind of on the edge of like being good versus bad, right?
True.
But I think putting like I would probably rather have an Eternatus than I'd rather have a Kyurem.
Yeah.
So I feel like too many Pokemon got thrown in F that probably like could have been in C.
Eternatus is also like not like awful. It almost top cut Senior Worlds. I think got top 16 in it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So
like something like that. Yeah. But like I just think like Groudon, Zacian are too low. They shouldn't be below Lunala. Like if we're taking in consideration of format, right? Like what happened. I can understand at the time though that you would put Groudon below Koraidon, like all the other guys, because at the point of the second VR challenge, I think there were 2 Groudon in Top Cut, which was a newer trend.
Yeah,
right?
this was before they knew that. Groudon only did when you played. So
yeah, so for that reason, I'd be willing to like not deduct that much for it. I'd probably put it like top of B. I think Cali Ice being that high would probably like lower it a lot for me.
Yeah, like this is not a bad tier list. I think it was pretty similar to Jody's in a way, right? Would you put it above Jody?
What was Jody's top tiers?
It was Cali Shadow, and I think Cali Ice, and like.
No, I like Jody's better. I like Jody's better because it at least gets the tiering of the best mons correctly for the most part.
Cool. Then
and Colin's like puts Cali Ice at number 1, which I just think is like.
Yeah. We both agree Cali Ice is a little bit washed, just a little bit. And lastly, we have the man himself, Aaron Cybertron Zhang. And his tier is pretty cool. He is the strongest, strong but not as powerful, good but hard to execute. Fringe Day 2 Pokemon, not as optimal. I would use for fun as content. You're working hard now with Mewtwo. And then the low is like all the baby legendaries.
Let's see. So for strongest, again, I would disagree with Pagos being on the bottom of strong. I'd put Pagos above Cali Ice, and I'd flip where Cali Ice and Pagos are.
Right. Okay.
But besides that, I think it like at least it wasn't Cali Ice number 1, right? Like that's fine. I like all of the good but harder to execute mons. Actually, I would actually like not mind that at all. I think Lunala and Duskmane and Necrozma are like interchangeable or in the same tier, right? Like, but I like that he put Dawnwings at the top.
Yeah, I didn't know too. Lunala has more results than Dawnwings too. I don't think Dawnwings has many day 2s or top cuts. So
yeah, exactly. Like I think it's justifiable for sure. I actually like this list a lot.
This might be the best one, actually.
yeah, it's really good. I think the only thing I could deduct points for would be
just the top tiering, right? It's just the Cali Ice. That's really it. But minus Cali Ice, everything else is like basically spot on.
Really accurate, yeah. Really accurate.
Do we give him S because that's like the highest out of everyone, right?
We don't have a S tier yet, right?
No, we don't. It would have
right? I know it looks like we're just doing this because it's Cybertron, but like I actually genuinely think this is like the best. This is the best tier list so far.
He liked my tweet last night, so he knows his tier list is coming. So he's gonna see himself on top. He's gonna be really happy. Yeah. So congrats, Aaron. You were number 1.
Yeah, because I think the only thing that bugs me about it is Terapagos being as low as it is over Cali Ice, but like I think it's like fine.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only thing. Like if we flop Pagos with Cali Ice, then we'd like the perfect tier list. But everything else was like miles better than everyone else because they're all spot on. So yeah.
Like I think I'm very happy Mewtwo was low.
Yeah, no, good job, Aaron. You know Mewtwo is garbage. So yeah. This is it.
I'd say it's pretty reasonable. I mean, okay, so let's recap where we place everyone on the list. So we had Aaron at S.
Yep. Moxy at first with A, then me and you. Jody at B, and Colin at B, Sempra at C, and then that's a +1 at D.
Yeah, that
Yep.
that seems pretty reasonable to me. I think, um, yeah, I'd say it's pretty accurate. It's interesting because I feel like honestly that's A +1s. Even though we put in D, like some of it actually was like really good. Like I felt like the top two tiers, S and A, were pretty reasonable. Like even though Kyogre's above Zama, which I think is insane, right? Like I could see the justification, but it was just like really
The B tier,
bottom of the tier.
the B
Yeah,
tier
it was the B
was
tier.
it was just combining all the Bs because he didn't have as many tiers as everyone else, so
Mhm.
it was all just packed in one tier, which is why we took off so many points. But overall, the tiering wasn't
Yeah.
bad. Like I swear, like if you just added one more tiering option, he would have had a more like easier to read list and just a more better one all around.
Yeah, like I think the middle was too abstract with it.
Oh,
Basically,
definitely.
like
We had Mewtwo
yeah,
in D tier, and
yeah,
you're not a fan of Mewtwo, so
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so this is how the list looks, and compared to the Twitter posts, it's definitely a lot more readable because we have the faces.
You can actually tell.
Yeah, you can't tell anything at all in the Twitter post. It's all the Pokemon. But yeah, so congrats, Aaron, for being S, and everyone else for being high on the list. And thank you all for watching, and thank you, Joe, for doing this dumb video idea with me. This was I didn't think this would actually be a video, but after the Twitter post blew up and some people were saying we actually wanted to see it, I had to make it. So
I actually thought it was a pretty funny. It was a pretty funny concept. Like
Yeah.
I think it's funny because it's like everyone's making a tier list, but how often do people make a tier list on your tier list? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's kinda funny.
exactly. Yeah, we're breaking the meta. This is the tier list meta.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. I'll catch you later, and make sure to subscribe to Joe as well. Thank you for being on.
Yep. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye bye.